Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Nike Kobe 10. Now as you guys can see, this is the box that it comes in. Black box with metallic gold Kobe 10 branding on the front. On the top you're going to find Kobe's logo, and on the back you're going to find Kobe's signature, also in metallic gold. Give you guys a quick look at the label. It's listed as the Kobe X, X standing for 10. Pair I have here is a size 9 US. The colorway is Poison Green, Sequoia, and Volt. And the retail price in Canadian dollars is $230. This is a Canadian pair, whereas the retail price in the US is $180. Inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves. For those that want to see the paper, it's white paper with gold Kobe logos. So we'll get this box out of the way, and we'll take a closer look at the Vino colorway, as Nike calls it, of the Kobe 10. Now this colorway isn't actually out yet. It comes out this weekend, I believe. I could be wrong. I picked them up locally, was able to take them home a couple of days early, which I'm pretty happy about. And just excited about this shoe in general. Now, if you guys are interested in a pair of Kobe 10s, check out the first link down below in the description. There will be buy it now links on the review page of my website, which will be that first link. So go ahead and check that out. I'll have all the currently available colorways listed in the form of buy it now links. So go ahead and check that out again if you're interested in a pair. And as far as the Kobe 10 is concerned, I really like this colorway. If I had an unlimited budget, honestly, I think that every colorway of the Kobe 10 so far has looked really good. Aesthetically, I'm a big fan of this shoe. And like I said, if the budget was unlimited, I'd probably own every colorway at this point. With that being said, I don't have an unlimited budget to buy Kobe 10, so I kind of waited and ended up pulling the trigger on this particular pair just because I really like the combination of colors. I think it shows off the design nicely, and it's just a really cool looking shoe in general. Now, talking about the release of the Kobe 10, I think it was a little overly negative, at least based on my thoughts with the shoe. I think that this is aesthetically one of the best looking Kobes that Nike has ever put out. The 8 was nice, the 7 was okay, the 9 was obviously very well received as well, but I personally just prefer how these things look. Now, the price tag is a little bit steep in my opinion at $180 US, especially considering that it is essentially just a Hyperfuse upper. If it was Flyknit, I'm not sure that too many people would be arguing that price. Obviously, we do see the Flyknit variation coming with the Elite model, but that's not a low, that's a much higher cut shoe. Nonetheless, though, I think that the actual Hyperfuse upper that they've used on here, while performance-wise, I don't think it's probably the best choice. I think that aesthetically, I just really like how it looks. I have no complaints regarding the appearance of this shoe whatsoever, but I'd be curious to hear your opinions down below in the comment section. Do you like this shoe? Do you not like this shoe? Why or why not? Because for me personally, I think it's just a really good looking shoe. So the combination of colors on this particular shoe is Poison Green, Sequoia, as well as Volt Yellow, which is also, all three of those colors are listed on the box. So the upper is kind of a Hyperfuse material, with the top layer being mostly exposed mesh. You're going to find some clear fuse kind of going around the laces, as well as bordering the sole of the shoe for, of course, durability reasons. It's a cool looking material. It has, at least what I read in the tech specs and the press releases for the Kobe 10, it's supposed to be modeled after shark skin in terms of how it looks. And while I can't really justify or say whether or not this does look like shark skin, I will say that I think it looks pretty cool. And it feels really nice in person. It's relatively stiff, and it does have that kind of plasticky feel to it, but that's to be expected with a Fuse upper. But nonetheless, I think it's pretty cool, and you also really don't notice in person that there's a transition in the color. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty clearly on camera. The front portion of the shoe, basically from the midfoot forward, has that black and Poison Green color to it, whereas from the midfoot back, it has more Volt Yellow and black as opposed to Poison Green and black. It just gives it a slightly different look. You can see that you do have a seam right here on the medial side of the shoe, so it isn't entirely one piece, and it is kind of an awkward place to put a seam, in my opinion. I wish they would have covered it up a little bit better, but nonetheless, that is how they did it. As far as accent colors on this shoe, a lot of the online pictures make it look like it's kind of a black and green shoe with a Volt sole, but this is actually Sequoia green. It's kind of like a dark olive, almost army green, if that makes any sense, and you will find that in the Nike swoosh on both the lateral and medial side, both of which are actually 3M reflective material. You're going to find it in the laces as well as in the tongue, which I think the tongue is probably the most kind of green to the entire shoe, and the laces in the right light look green, but in most lighting I would say look more black. And then of course you will find the Sequoia green here on the back of the heels. One heel has the Kobe logo, as you guys can see, while the other heel has the 4 red stitches, which I believe is going to be kind of a continuation for all of the future Kobe shoes, when he did actually basically snap his Achilles heel, which is just a horrible injury. I can't imagine how much that would hurt, but he went through it, he came back, and he's out again at the moment. But nonetheless, I think his shoe looks pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. The tongue, as you guys can see, is pretty much solid Sequoia green. You will have a bit of Volt yellow underlay here, with kind of some ventilation built in on the bottom half of the tongue. The top half features Kobe's signature in Volt yellow, and what is supposed to be laser cut pieces right here at the top of the tongue in the form of the Kobe logo again, which I think is a pretty cool little detail there. The heel liner, as you guys can see, is poison green. It's like a light green color. The insole is technically non-removable, but you do have the Kobe logo right there. It's kind of green on green, so a little bit difficult to see, but it is in fact there. And the underside of the tongue has kind of a digital snakeskin-like pattern. Again, a little bit difficult for me to show you guys, but it is in fact there, and it's a nice little detail. I wish, honestly, though, that kind of pattern would have been used throughout the entire heel liner, as opposed to just the underside of the tongue. Moving on to the midsole, I think this is probably the coolest looking part of the shoe. I'm a really big fan of this. It kind of has that semi-translucent look to it, and it is actually semi-translucent. You can see the little splits here. Essentially what they've done is they've incorporated a lunar lawn kind of an insert. It's part of the sole, and it's encapsulated by this kind of rubbery plastic material here. Obviously with the Kobe 8 and the Kobe 9, there was actually a drop-in kind of midsole, if you will, where there was no actual insole. The insole was all of your cushioning, so it was just a thick layer of lunar lawn foam, and then essentially the shoe was just a shell to hold that lunar lawn foam. In this particular situation, the insole technically isn't removable, neither is the actual cushioning system, so they incorporated that lunar lawn. They also made little splits similar to the Nike Free running through the forefoot that you can actually see. You see probably a little bit better on this side, just to increase the flexibility of the shoe, although they are pretty stiff from brand new, I will admit that. And the upper certainly isn't the most flexible either. And then you're actually going to find a large zoom air unit similar to what you find on the KD7 at the back portion of the shoe. You can see the zoom branding right there, and it's a relatively decent sized zoom bag that actually feels pretty good. I think that underfoot cushioning and just comfort in general feels really good with this shoe. They also incorporated this little kind of carbon fiber clip, or not necessarily a shank, but it's just a little extension piece right here on the lateral side of the forefoot. You can see it actually lips up a little bit here, and that's just kind of a stability thing. If you are playing basketball or really any sport in general, you're going to be making those quick cuts, those hard turns, and that carbon fiber insert, while I'm not sure or confident that it's going to do all that much as far as performance is concerned, the idea here is that this extra piece here, along with the carbon fiber reinforcement, is just going to create kind of a sidewall for you to push off of and just make for the most responsive feel possible. Moving on to the outsole, as far as little details go, you will find some braille right here along the medial side of the forefoot. I'm not sure if that's on both shoes. Yes, it is. I'm not sure what that means, honestly, but it is there. And then moving on to the bottom of the shoe, you can see that you do have a pretty hard to see traction pattern on camera, but hopefully you can get a better idea of it. Essentially, it's just these little tiny, I don't even know what you would call them. It's almost like these little teeth, I guess is the best way to describe it, of soft rubber. It's very, very flexible, and it's almost like a fine-tooth comb, if that makes any sense. It definitely does seem like it would grip the ground really, really well. When you walk around in these things, they just have that sticky sensation. If you're on a really clean floor, it makes that like whick, whick, whick sound kind of thing, if that makes any sense. But that's the sensation that I got from just walking around in the shoe a little bit. As far as other hidden elements, you do actually have the Kobe logo right there, which is something that I didn't notice in the online photos. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's right there, kind of at the ball of your foot. Then you will find that the zoom unit here is kind of visible through everything, which is kind of cool. It's got gold on the underside. I'm assuming that's some kind of plastic cap for this actual Kobe 10 logo. So it's an X, and then you do have Kobe's signature in black right there in the middle. So pretty cool shoe overall. Really, really like how they look. They feel pretty good on feet. And that's pretty much it as far as an overview is concerned. We'll move on next to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes look, and of course what the sizing is like. Alright, so here's a quick look at the Kobe 10s on feet with a pair of pants. Right out of the box, they feel really, really good. There's a good amount of cushion from the sole. Obviously, it's Lunarlon, and you do have the Zoom Air in the heel, which isn't quite as noticeable on this model in comparison to something like the KD7, in my opinion. But I'm sure that may change after some wear time in these things. That generally is the case with a lot of Nike's cushioning systems. They just take some break-in time. And I definitely can see where people may complain about the upper just being not as soft, not as flexible as what we found on the last couple of Kobe models. With that being said, I still find them to be very comfortable, and I just like the general shape of the shoe. It seems to be a little bit more streamlined in comparison to previous models. Not necessarily narrower, but there's just I would say less dead space inside the shoe. This is kind of me comparing it to the Kobe 8 to a certain extent. But overall, very, very comfortable shoes and no major complaints as far as comfort and fit is concerned, especially if you're just going to be wearing these casually like I will be probably 95% of the time. As far as